And that brings us to our game of the week, one of the most anticipated matchups of rivalry weekend. And although it may not be an in-state rivalry between Iowa State and Iowa, we're still getting a battle of the Midwest. The number 24 Kansas State Wildcats hit the road to take on the number 18 Iowa State Cyclones. Saturday night kickoff on Fox at 7:30 p.m. Iowa State comes into this game favored by 2.5 points at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. And Brad, this is a very intriguing matchup to me. Matt Campbell was on the hot seat. He gets into a fight with a fan last year, and now he sits here in a position with a chance to possibly make it to the Big 12 championship, controlling their own destiny. If they win this game, they kind of lead the pack in getting into the Big 12 championship. Now, we know it's a four-way tie right now, to your point before the show started. But again, they win this game, they put themselves in a very, very good position to get to Jerry's World to play in the Big 12 championship. And with that being said, who comes out on top in Ames, Iowa? Can Matt Campbell lead his team to victory, or will he choke again?
Yeah, Nate, Matt Campbell's done a good job, and I'll be honest, from my perspective, he's always been mentioned, to get some bigger jobs. You've even seen his job floated. I'm sorry, you've even seen his name floated for some NFL jobs, and I'll be honest, there's been times that I'm like, I didn't think he was deserving, but he's got a really, really good. He's got a good team this year. They're sitting on the verge of double-digit wins. Hats off to Matt Campbell. Feel like he's really, really done a good job. Nate, you've had a theme in this one. It's been about running the football. You brought that up several times, and I think this one runs true, man, because you look at Kansas State. Avery Johnson is, I think, a really, really good quarterback. He's just a sophomore. He's going to continue to get better. I'm excited to see this kid next year. But DJ Giddens is what makes this Kansas State offense go. I mean, he is very, very talented. And then jumping over to Iowa State, their leading rusher in Carson Hansen, 560 yards on the year. They've got a good quarterback in Rocco Beck, but you can't be one-dimensional in college football. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And, also deep diving, Kansas State has got a very talented defensive end, Brendan Mott, 8.5 sacks this year. This is the type of game to me that, with Iowa State not being a real big threat to run the football, this is going to be a game where a guy like Brendan Mott has got the chance to just pin his ears back and just, come after Rocco Beckton. I just, I think that spells trouble. And, I want to say, because the Iowa State fans, I don't want you to jump on me. Iowa State does not have a bad rushing attack. I mean, they're averaging 162 yards a game, but I feel like there's been at times that they have gone, somewhat one-dimensional. And I think that's a key when, looking at Kansas State, over 200 rushing yards a game. This is that type of game to me that it's going to come down to which team can run the football better. Both quarterbacks are good. Both quarterbacks can make plays with their arms, but it's going to be which rushing attack leads the way. And for that reason, and, looking at the spread, I'm going to call for the upset here. Give me the Kansas State Wildcats.
Wow, Brad. Wow, I was not expecting that. But then again, it's rivalry weekend, and anything can happen. Okay, we've seen time and time again. That's another theme this year. There's been a lot of upsets, and there's been a lot of games back and forth, especially within the Big 12. Big 12 has shaken up like a snow globe heading into this winter, and that was a pun intended, by the way. I don't even know if that's a pun, but it was intended that way. But seriously, it's been really shaken up this year. I mean, first it's Kansas State, then everyone hops on the BYU train, then everyone hops on the Colorado train, and all those teams have fallen short. Now Iowa State sitting on top, 9-2, 6-2 in the conference. And by the way, Brad, and I know we kind of mentioned this beforehand, I don't think anyone expected Iowa State to be 9-2 at the end of this year. Maybe some did. I didn't. I thought it would be Kansas State. I thought it would be Oklahoma State. I thought those teams would really step up and take that next jump into the Big 12 championship. And here we stand, Iowa State 9-2. So props to Matt Campbell and the job he's done with Iowa State. You got to think maybe he gets some offers in the offseason, you just don't know. But it's going to be hard to outmatch Iowa State at this point. It's a pretty prominent program in the Big 12. And look, if you're in the Big 12, every year you've got a shot to make the college football playoff at this point in time anyways. Don't know how it's going to be in the future. But for the time being, they've got a shot year in and year out. So good position and good job for Matt Campbell. Then you look at the other side in Kansas State. Been really disappointed in them. You mentioned quarterback Avery Johnson, and yeah, he's been great. But I think everyone really expected him to take that next jump forward. You almost wonder if a guy like, and I'm drawing a blank now, former quarterback for Kansas State, you wonder if he stayed and didn't go to Ohio State. You wonder maybe Avery Johnson gets another year under his belt to sit back and learn from Will Howard. Just thought of his name. Learn from Will Howard and get a chance to develop a little bit more. He's thrown into it, and I get it. He's a sophomore. He should be ready, especially in the state of college football today. Paying guys NIL money, you got to be ready. You got to perform at the highest level. But it's been tough. It's been tough for Kansas State. And for that reason, I'm going to take the Iowa State Cyclones. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't know if I'm regretting this one or not. But you got to think of all games this year, Matt Campbell's got to get his team ready for this one. This is it. This is his championship. This is his Big 12 championship. Let the rest take care of itself. But you've got to win Saturday night on Fox at 7:30. So let us know down in the comments who you think comes out on top in this key, pivotal Big 12 matchup between the number 24 Kansas State Wildcats and the number 18 Iowa State Cyclones. That's a wrap for this week. When we come back next week, we're going to get into the second round of FCS playoffs and bowl game predictions. You're not going to want to miss out. I'm Nathan Johnston here with my co-host, Brad Hopkins. And once again, it's time to break the huddle.